Good evening. I show that it all connected. So I hope everybody's doing well. Might have a bit of a quick one tonight. I am miserable. My back never did automatically fix itself. So I'm dealing with that full on again today. What it needs is a foot stepping on it is what it needs. It would fix it in a heartbeat. That, or I've got I think one name for him is the magic rub or something. It's basically a massage on steroids. It's man, those things are badass. But I can't use it on myself, so I'm out, and I haven't figured out a way to mount it on anything so that I could lay on it and use it or whatever. So I'm just out. Is what it is. I do want to say real quick, thank you to whoever the heck was using our Amazon affiliate code. I don't know who it was. I'll show you guys. I don't mind showing you guys. There's nothing that I just want people to know that I don't see all kinds of crazy information when it comes to people using the Amazon affiliate links. But it does tell me that there was an item ordered, and it tells me what the item was. Like these two here, I can tell you were Laol, and I only know that because he told me. He got the Baofeng programming cable and the TID radio. However, somebody got a Seattle Sports collapsible square pack sink dual dish wash. Yeah, actually a pretty cool little thing. So, thank you, whoever that was. And for those that don't know, that little banner that keeps popping up down below, it's got two links. One's TheWatchmanNews.com/donate. That takes you to our PayPal donate. But the other one, TheWatchmanNews.com Amazon, that takes you, it'll take you to Amazon, but it does so with our link and our, what they call a token. And so when you make a purchase, we get just a little bit of credit for that sale. It doesn't cost you anything more. And it is mucho appreciated. And I would ask folks that maybe they consider that when they do their Black Friday shopping or their holiday shopping. Because that little bit helps. Believe it or not, that little bit has helped us time and time again. And since, we just started doing the show back up and whatnot, there's not a lot of people using the link. And the man that uses it the most often, or at least used to use it the most often, Steve Angle, they no longer give me credit for his purchases because they can... me and him are friends. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying we're not friends, but we're not lifelong, I should say, friends or anything like that. I've never actually physically met the man. He's been a viewer of the show, and so he uses my link in order to help us out, but he's done it, I guess, so many times that they now threw him in the friend group, and I never get credit for his purchases anymore, so that sucks. Anywho, I thought I switched it over. Sorry. This is the page that I see. It doesn't tell me who buys what or anything like that. It just tells me what items were bought. That's it. So, anywho, like I say, it is mucho appreciated. I got things vibrating on the table. I don't know what's up. Hang on. I didn't hear no noises, just felt vibrating. Yeah, I know I'm live. Guess it would have been Twitterer. I guess. I don't see anything else. Anywho, got a few different things to go over this evening. Starting off with, apparently, Trump's cabinet picks, at least some of them, have been targeted in the recent days. I don't want to say the last 24 hours because it might go just beyond that. I'm not positive, but kind of crazy here. Several Trump picks for top jobs targeted with bomb and swatting threats. Crazy, crazy. Article here. Let me see if I can. There's the X. I hate those little players that pop up. Says here, several of President-elect Donald Trump's planned cabinet nominees and administration appointees were subjected to bomb threats and swatting attacks Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, a spokesperson for the Trump transition team said. The nominees and appointees were targeted in violent, un-American threats to their lives and those who live with them. These attacks ranged from bomb threats to swatting, transition spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt said in a statement. Swatting is, well, you guys know what swatting is. It says 3 senior law enforcement officials briefed on the swatting incident involved multiple Trump allies told NBC News that these were not credible threats. No devices or physical threats were found, and some of the threats may have come in over social media, the officials said. Threats did not involve U.S. Secret Service protectees such as Trump or Vice President-elect J.D. Vance. The FBI said in a statement it is aware of numerous bomb threats and swatting incidents targeting incoming administration nominees and appointees, and we are working with our law enforcement partners. We take all potential threats seriously and, as always, encourage members of the public to immediately report anything they consider suspicious to law enforcement. Trump's statement did not identify exactly who or how many incoming officials were subjected to the hoax, but said law enforcement and other authorities acted quickly to ensure the safety of those who were targeted. I don't buy a lot of this as far as, we're going to get right on the case. We'll find out who it is. Dude, we wouldn't be allowed on the internet if they couldn't keep a thumb on us. They know. What's that have to do with phone calls and whatnot? Because, all phone calls are routed through the internet nowadays. I know all about spoofing. I know all about that good stuff. But let me explain something. I might be able to spoof your caller ID. That's easy. That is like super easy. But you ain't spoofing the network. You can't. It can't be done. You would have to be able to connect to the network, and I'm talking about the phone network. You would have to be able to connect to the network in such a manner in which no identifying information was given about the device that connected to said network. The network will not connect to you unless your device can provide that information. A handshake. It won't make the connection. If the network can't see, for instance, the MAC address of the device that you're trying to connect with, it will not connect. It won't do it. Why? Because it's got no way to route the call. That is your number. That's your hardware ID. So they can't bullshit me that they can't find these people. They can locate these people in a flash. And if they got any problem, they can go to Steam. I'm talking about the gaming platform Steam. And the reason why I say that, and I know I say it humorously, but I woke up this morning. I must have been involved in a massive breach somewhere. Because I have had a number of accounts warn me that somebody tried to access them. This morning I woke up with Steam yelling at me that somebody, and it flat out told me they had my username and my password. Let me tell you something. if they guessed a Hebrew password, they're pretty damn good. They're pretty damn good. Now, I don't mean the Hebrew letters, of course. I got an English keyboard. But Hebrew words. So if if they can crack that, I don't think they cracked it. I'm saying I think I was, I'd actually gotten several emails, over the course of the last several years. Here and there, I'd get another email saying that, oh, your account was involved in a breach, blah, 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 blah. So apparently, somehow, they got a whole lot of stuff. So, because there's been quite a few accounts. Okay, let me get to the point. The point is I've got all the information about the person that tried to access my account. By the way, it is the same one that's tried to access other ones of my accounts. Now, if I can do that, sitting here without any special quote-unquote law enforcement tools, then you cannot tell me that they can't track down who calls in a bomb threat or a swatting incident. That's laughable. Laughable. How do you get it to stop? You sell out. That's what Tim Pool did. He sold out. No more swatting incidents. It's amazing how that happens. I still like Tim. I mean, I'm not going to judge the man for that. I mean, damn. Here he's got his own private security and all of that. And he's getting swatted. And there ain't a damn thing he could do. Nothing he could do. And they made a point of it. That we'll keep doing it. We'll keep doing it. Well, then all of a sudden, there was quite a few of Tim's stances that changed a little bit. And his rhetoric changed a little bit. And, no more problems. Amazing how that works. Getting back to the main meat of the main topic, I believe that anytime things like this happens, that even if it isn't a direct result of the government, it's being overlooked by the government. So, and I think probably a little mingling of both is probably the right answer. So, I don't buy this. Crazy that this is going on. Keep an eye on this stuff, because, my bingo card, I can't make it out. The damn thing got wet and all the writing on it's all screwed up. I can't make out my bingo card anymore, so I have no idea what the hell's left for 2024. No idea. But I know that there's some open spots on that card left. So we'll just keep an eye on things and go from there. But I absolutely do not buy the story that they, we'll find out who did it, maybe. They know. I got another interesting article for you. I didn't originally intend to do this article here. Pardon me. But it's par for the course, and it's probably something, we often hear the bad story come out, but then when the story comes out that vindicates information from the bad story, you usually don't hear that. So I'm making it a point to make sure that it's heard. Okay, and this was actually put out on AP. AP finds that a Pentagon-funded study on extremism in the military relied on old data. You remember this? So, like after January 6th of 2020, they conducted a study in the military, right? Or, well, they said they conducted a study in the military. And they were going to root out the extremism in the military, right? Basically, if you're male and you're not wearing high heels and a skirt, you're an extremist, right? I think that's kind of what the borderline was. And so, if you recall, I do, they was like raising hell about how much extremism was in the military and how they were going to have to go through and get rid of a bunch of people and blah, blah, blah. And check this out. Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump's pick to lead the Department of Defense, sat in front of a screen with the headline, "Study Disproves Military Extremism Problem." It was January 4th of this year, and Hegseth told Fox News audience that the new study proved that the number of military service members and veterans involved in the January 6, 2021 insurrection did not indicate a wider problem in the armed forces. The Pentagon-funded report to which Hegseth referred to said there was no evidence the number of violent extremists in the military was disproportionate to extremists in the general population. They knew this was a sham, Hegseth said, referring to the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and other military leaders. Then they do the study, which confirms what we all know. Hegseth, who was working for Fox News at the time and had no involvement in the report, wasn't alone. Wall Street Journal's opinion page highlighted the same report as evidence that extremists in military communities were phantoms created by a false media narrative. The X account for Republicans on the House Armed Services Committee posted that the study showed the focus on extremism in the military was a witch hunt. But the Associated Press has found that the study prohibited extremist activities in the U.S. Department of Defense conducted by the Institute for Defense Analysis relied on old data, misleading analysis, and ignored evidence that pointed to the opposite conclusion. In fact, the AP found that the IDA, again, this is the AP reporting this, that the IDA report's authors did not use newer data that was offered to it, and instead based one of its foundational conclusions on January 6 arrest figures that were more than 2 years out of date by the time of the report's public release. As a result, the report grossly undercounted the number of military and veterans arrested for the January 6 attack and provided a misleading picture of the severity of the growing problem the AP has found. Now, wait, that might actually be trying to say it's going the other way. That says number of service members and veterans who radicalize make up a tiny fraction of a percentage point of the millions and millions who have honorably served their country, yet their impact can be large. Ordered by Austin after the January 6th insurrection, the IDA research was published quietly just before Christmas 2023, nearly 18 months late with no announcement. Its key recommendation, the DoD should not overreact and draw too large of a target in its anti-extremism efforts, despite Austin's promise to attack the problem head-on in the wake of January 6. The IDA's researchers based a key finding on an undercount of military service members and veterans who participated in the January 6 insurrection. The IDA, a longtime partner of the Pentagon, has received more than $1 billion in contracts over the past decade to provide research and strategic consulting to the nation's military. Based this conclusion on arrests made as of January 1st, 2022, the year immediately following the attack. As of that date, 82 of the 704 people arrested had military background, or 11.6 of the total arrests, IDA reported. But in the months and years that followed, the number of arrestees with a military background nearly tripled. IDA's report states that its research was conducted from June 2021 to June 2022. By June 2022, the number of active or former military members arrested had grown by nearly 50%, according to the same data set IDA cited from the Program on Extremism at George Washington University when IDA's report was published a year and a half later. In December 2023, 209 people with military backgrounds who attended the insurrection had been arrested, or 15.2% of all arrests. That has since grown to 18%, according to data collected from the National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Responses to Terrorism, or START, at the University of Maryland. It represents a significant statistical increase in blah, blah, blah. Let me explain something else, though. Some of these arrestees, in fact, the large majority of these arrestees, walked through the Capitol building like they were on a tour. They didn't harm a thing. And many of the veterans that they are talking about are retired veterans. A lot of them were probably older people that just walked through and didn't harm a thing. Now, hey, I get it. There was breaking laws there. I get that. Was an insurrection? No. If you're not going to call what happened in Washington, D.C., right after the 2016 election, if you're not going to call that an insurrection, then you damn well don't call what happened January 6, 2021 an insurrection. That's horse shit. That is horse shit. I honestly think, I know I'm stuttering, I think people need to get in power, and they need to start locking up these individuals that are trying to twist and contort the law to only fit one side. I already know that any attempt to do so is going to be met with claims of, oh, look, now they're just going around arresting the opposition. You know, the damn thing that they've been doing for the last 4 years. That's how these people work. It's much like narcissism. And I know a thing or two about that, from both sides of it. It's narcissism. To do something, I mean, it's part of it, to do something, and then you blame the very person you're doing that to for doing that to you, to others. That's part of narcissism. And we've put up with that for much more than 4 years. We've been putting up with that since Obama took office. It's been unreal. It really looks like we're on our way out of the woke nonsense. I am really hoping that we can be getting out of this whole victim mentality nonsense too. Because, man, it's been going on since Obama. And I mean, obviously it's gone on since before then. But on steroids. On a point of no return. It's been insane since Obama. The attack on the male gender. The attack on the spiritual. I don't want to say Christians. I'm going to say spiritual. It's been insane. And I really hope that it's going to get a bit of a reprieve. That's not going to happen unless the incoming administration and those that work under them do some mean things. And I say mean things, they're deserved things. But they're going to be looked at as, oh, look at the fascist dictator go. No matter what, that label's going to be thrown out there. So I really hope that Trump and his administration can get over that nonsense. Because it doesn't matter what they do. They're going to get pointed at by people that don't have two brain cells to rub together and drink as much Kool-Aid as they can possibly find. No matter what they do, it's going to be the devil's work anyway. Well, it's what they say. It's ironic, isn't it? I find it really ironic. Again, it's that whole projection and blame others for what we do thing. So anyway, I wanted to bring that up because it's important that stuff like that gets pointed out. And I don't think that we're getting any numbers even close to accurate yet at this point. I think there's a lot of stuff that is being held behind lock and key, so to speak. So we can't see it. I would imagine a lot of it's getting destroyed and has been getting destroyed ever since the election. I have no doubt that paper shredders are in high demand. Industrial paper shredders, I'm sure, are in very high demand in D.C. right now. So we'll see. And then you've got the whole damn thing of are they really going to do what is absolutely right for the American people? That's yet to be seen. But, I don't know. First, we have to make it to then. And that's the part that's starting to get more and more iffy as the days go by. Gotta have a little bit of coffee. Hang on. So as we're all watching what's going on over in Europe and hoping that things can remain a dull roar until January 20th, the Biden administration, and I'm sure this does not surprise you, is trying to pump as much money into Ukraine as he can while he can. $725 million more. And man, this might be a crazy attitude to take. But I am somebody that I come from a poor family. I've had moments in my life to where I've been, I won't say the word my dad used to say because it contains a slur. But I've had bits of money here and there. I don't want to say wealthy. I don't want to say rich, or because never even near any of that. But I've definitely had my high times. But most of my life I've been pretty just, keep up with the bill kind of thing, and that's about it. Get a little bit of something here, a little bit of something there. Nothing too crazy. So when I see them just, here's $725 million. Not gonna lie, it pisses me off. Man. If they would focus on actually helping move the American people forward, an actual agenda to move the American people forward, and stop sending all this money to all these other countries, and I mean all of them, Ukraine, Israel, Africa, South American countries. And I realize that in a lot of cases we're paying back for stuff that we screwed up. There's a lot of truth to that. Nonetheless, I keep hearing this America First thing. It would be nice. Man, if they could, instead of paying all this money to all these other countries, most of whom don't like us anyway, would say give every American, every adult American, right, give them $500,000. And let them build their life. Because let me tell you something. You're going to have a lot of people that go out and piss that away as quick as they can and not buy a damn thing useful with it. Probably have a fair amount of that. But you're also going to have people that are going to invest. And there's going to be a fair amount of people that invest in business of some sort or another. And the more investment in businesses you can get going, the more manufacturing, the more the whole thing comes up. The whole economy comes up. Right now, the American people, a lot of them are in a rut that is seemingly impossible in their minds to get out of, and in some cases, very close to true. I don't want to say it is true. There are a lot of people that, even though they don't have debt, they don't have to pay down on anything, they don't have enough coming in to build anything. They can just scrape by. That's not how it used to be, by the way. That's how it is now. See, because back in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and up into the 80s, people could go to work, they could put in their days of hard work, their weeks, their months, their years. And not only could they have the home, not only could they have the vehicle, but they could also put back money for their children's education. They could put back money for maybe starting that business of their own. But we don't have that now. You cannot tell me when people have to work 2 and 3 jobs just to pay bills, just to have a roof over their head, food in their stomach, and electricity to keep warm. You cannot tell me the math is the same. It's just not. And so, it's not that American people need a handout. They need a hand up. And then we need to fix everything that goes along with why we're making crap for money. And a big part of that is to bring the manufacturing back, to force it back. And I do believe Trump's on target with that, with his tariffs. It was working very well during his first term. Here's to hoping that it works well again on his second term. Bring that manufacturing back. We were built on manufacturing. The Industrial Revolution built the United States, and then we gave it away. We just gave it away. I actually haven't seen that movie, As Good as It Gets. I've never seen that one. But this article, I'm not going to read it. It just pisses me off. But yeah, Jackass is giving them $725 million more of crap. I don't know if it's just weapons and money, showgirls, who knows? Oh, that's right, Zelensky. He is the showgirl. Diddy probably hired him specifically for that task. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I got 2 more articles to go through, And then, I am gonna get out. I am freaking hurting. Like right between my shoulder blades, man. It is insane. Yeah, he was a good actor. Absolutely a good actor. Coffee. So while Biden is figuring out ways that he can throw a shit ton of money at Ukraine, Russia is working to roll out the Sarmat, or the Satan II missile. Says here, Russia is still planning to deploy intercontinental missile. Russia is still working to roll out its Sarmat intercontinental ballistic missile on combat duty, state news agency TASS is reporting. The RS-28 Sarmat, big-ass rocket, sometimes nicknamed Satan II, is capable of carrying multiple nuclear warheads to strike targets thousands of miles away in the U.S. or Europe. Its development has been held back by delays in testing issues. Earlier this year, arms experts said the missile appeared to have suffered a catastrophic failure during a test launch, leaving a crater at the launch silo in northern Russia. And I actually remember that. That wasn't the first test of it, though. They have had successful tests with it. So, I know they've had at least one, if not a couple of successful tests. Well, it is the most deadly because of its capabilities. I mean, it's hypersonic. It's, you check all the boxes on that. What we just saw with the Orishnik, or however it's said, it's pretty much the same thing as that, except much bigger, and of course, it's long range. It's intercontinental. So it's basically a big brother to the Orishnik, really. So they've got that going on. And then as you see per the title, news notifications, I guess. Okay. I might have to check those out. I'll have to say, that's just going to regular MSN. Okay. This usually it brings up a little different page. Nonetheless, how to survive a nuclear attack as U.S. government shares chilling warning. And this was actually posted a couple of days ago. Now, I had brought up one document, which is, I've got a copy of it here. Did have a copy of it. Oh, that's right. Here we go. Now, this is what FEMA has directly on their site. Planning guidance for response to a nuclear detonation. And it's, a 258-page deal. But now ready.gov has, let me just put this in here. And I'll put, I don't know if it was this one. Hang on. Let me see if I can give it the pass. Yeah. Now they might give me the actual link to the one that they're talking about because it looks different. Here, I'll show you that. Oh, quit popping stuff up on me. It's this page, and I saw that when I initially looked for the PDF. But they said FEMA, and I know ready.gov is, pretty much the same thing. But, see, here's the thing. Every single site that I've seen talks about the PDF, but they don't link the damn thing. Are they out of their damn minds? It makes no sense. Anyway, let me back up and see. Okay, let me click back. There was ready.gov stuff here, but I didn't know which one we should be looking for. Is this the one? This might be the one. This, I believe, is the one. Let me double check that page. How to stay in the event of a nuclear explosion. Oop. That would be it. So this is the one that everybody's linking, or not linking to. They're not linking to it, but it is the one that they're talking about, and it's just 2 pages. So I want you to know that your government is telling you that you're worth 2 pages worth of instructions, and they include get inside, stay inside, and stay tuned. Is that like sending the men to go get like the towels and the warm water and stuff like that during childbirth in the olden days? Is that like the same thing? Just go inside, stay in there, turn on your radio, maybe make some bread, I don't know. Braid your hair, and just sit there and wait. We'll let you know. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Russia is mass producing mobile nuclear bunkers and placing them in as many areas as they can, as quickly as they can put them out there and produce them. Right? And these things are insane, the capability of these mobile nuclear bunkers that they're putting out. It's pretty crazy. They have the ability to filter the air, to keep the air clean and all of that. I think that they have the ability to, I want to say they have the ability to purify urine and stuff, so that you've got a bit of a water supply coming. All kinds of capabilities that they have in these mobile bunkers that they're putting up, around, I think, quite a few places. You've got Germany talking about converting their metros into bomb shelters, which, to be honest, they were probably built with that in mind to begin with, just like Russia did way back when they built theirs. And they're encouraging citizens to convert their own basements and their own garages into nuclear bomb shelters, right? Which takes some doing. Let's say you've got your regular run-of-the-mill house with a basement. And let's say that basement around the foundation at ground level, your basement has windows. A lot of basements have little windows in them. You need to cover those windows up with dirt. I think like 2-3 feet of dirt, if I'm not mistaken. All of those windows you need to cover up with dirt. There are things that you have to do in order to prepare your basement for that type of an event. Several things. And then that's where your iodide tablets come in handy, because for everything that you do, for the radiation that still gets past all of that, what that is, it basically saturates your thyroids, and your thyroids can't absorb the radiation that's been put off by the nuclear device because your thyroids are already saturated. I don't know with what exactly. I'm not a doctor, but it won't allow the radiation to soak in, more or less. So that's what that's all about. I'm not a doctor. There are many better explanations of it than that. But there are things that you do, right? And they're telling you to get inside, stay inside, and stay tuned. Right. Okay. I guess we'll just eat when they come and drop off the food. I guess we'll just, I don't know, let me blow this thing up. Not literally. Let's see. Let's see what they say. Get inside the nearest building to avoid radiation. Brick or concrete are the best. Remove contaminated clothing. Go to the basement or in the middle of the building. Okay. Again, no instructions that you have to do things like cover up your basement windows with dirt. No instructions like that. Stay inside it's basically put as much distance between you and the outside as what you can. That's pretty much what you're trying to do. You're trying to get as far away from any contamination as possible. Stay inside for 24 hours unless local authorities provide other instructions, like get on the train. Families should stay where they are inside. Reunite later to avoid exposure to dangerous radiation. Like if you've got a newborn or something that's across the street, just leave them out there. Just a couple of days. Then you can go get it. I'm kidding. Keep your pets inside. Don't let Fido out to take a dump when the ground is a-glowing. Tune into any media available for official information, such as when it's safe to exit and where you should go. Battery-operated and hand-crank radios will function after a nuclear detonation. Cell phone, text messaging, television, and internet services may be disrupted or unavailable. You think? They really do need to add one more thing when they talk about things that will be disrupted or unavailable. Because you got a lot of people out there right now. Hell, you got a lot of people buying what they call the rapid radios and other radio or other whatever you want to call it, similar to the rapid radio, that are convinced that they're good when those things won't work past line of sight without the cell towers. So they ain't much good at all, really. I think they're fancy, expensive walkie-talkie that you never quit paying for because you got to pay the subscription thing. It makes no sense, but here's the other thing that people don't realize. People that go by the satellite phones, people that have Starlink, they think, oh, well, the end of the world comes. I've got satellite connection. Nothing's going to stop that. For all those networks to work, whether it be your satellite phone, whether it be your Starlink, the internet, the World Wide Web, has to be functioning. If the World Wide Web is down, so is your satellite internet and your satellite phones. Fact. But you never hear anybody talk about that. I don't think generally a lot of people know. But it sure in the hell ain't a good selling point. So that's why those that are in the know, they keep mum about it. Like, you go ask somebody that's trying to sell you the rapid radio, you ask them about the cell towers, what happens most of the time, the people that's like got affiliate links and stuff trying to sell, they will do everything they can to talk around the fact that those radios are nothing but crap pieces of plastic without the cell towers. It is what it is. Never ask advice from somebody trying to sell you something. That is the most foolish thing that you can do. It truly is. There was a time where we knew that if you went to a car dealership and you were going to buy a used car, that you weren't supposed to pay attention to how good the salesman told you that car was. You needed to take somebody with you to check that car out and check it over and make sure that it was truly good to go. Because why? Because a used car salesman, even at one time, was considered like some of the biggest slime bags because of the crap they would pull to sell you junk off the lot. Do you think it's any bit different when it comes to people online trying to sell you stuff? It's not. Do not trust the advice from somebody that can profit from you. Go find somebody else that's not got anything. There's no way they're going to profit from you. You know, you got to make sure it's somebody that's not just a fanboy of whatever either, because there's a lot of that. Consumerism is thick. I don't have good advice for people looking for good advice when it comes to purchases and stuff, because there's no cookie cutter answer. And it's harder and harder all the time. So anyway, don't get blown up. Nuclear war tips, don't get blown up. There you go. Don't get blown up. And remember, to get inside, to stay inside, and to stay tuned. Nothing else. Nothing else. Not a damn thing else. Just don't do anything ahead of time. Just when the sky lights up. I mean, I'm telling you, man. I'm not lying to you. All you have to do in the event of a nuclear war is get inside, stay inside, and stay tuned. You don't even have to do none of that duck and cover bullshit that they told people about in schools anymore. Hell no. You ain't got to stick your head between your legs, kiss your ass goodbye. None of that. Just get inside, and stay tuned. Now Russia, the big bad wolf, is mass producing nuclear bomb shelters for its citizens. Don't worry. When FEMA comes around with that bucket of cleaning supplies, they might give you a magnet to put on your refrigerator. This is ridiculous. I mean, I know I make it sound even more ridiculous, but can I? Can I get more ridiculous than what's really going on? I don't know that I can. I do not know that I can. But I do know that son of a bitch Biden can send 700 and some odd million more dollars to Ukraine to try to get us blown to hell. I hope we can make it to inauguration. And I hope that's enough to change things. Like I've said, I will say again, just because the United States, granted Trump gets in, he stops all the aid, all that, just because the United States is no longer part of it, doesn't mean it's over. You've got Europe that can keep it on as long as they please. And if Putin gets tired of it and hits a NATO member, I wouldn't be so quick to say that the United States wouldn't respond. There's a lot, to answer your question, what is it to you asked, so beside printing the gasifier info, what else do you need to print for nukes? I would say, for one, that other one that I had shown, and I'll put the link for this real quick. Oh, that's, wait a minute. Let me get you a link to it. Notready.gov, that was FEMA. Yeah, this one. Let me give you the link. Oh. This is a, kind of looks a little different. I don't know when the other one was. Hang on, let me look. It says 3rd edition, but it doesn't say when. 6/12/2023. What's that say? 6/12/20. Okay. So I'll give you this link. I think it's just a different cover letter. Share. There we go. Okay. Oh, I guess I could have looked at the page count too. Oh, 105. Let me find this one that I've got, this other one, because it's even bigger. Hang on, because this one's even bigger. Yeah. Let it load in. Yep, 258 pages. Here you go. Here's the big one. And then beyond that, there are a ton of books out there on the subject. A ton of books by many different great authors on it. A lot of the concepts are pretty basic. Put as much distance in between you and the contamination as possible. Again, if a basement is where you're going, if you've got windows in the basement, make sure you cover those up with soil. A lot of it's kind of common sense kind of stuff. I would definitely say, though, that this particular guide here is going to be fairly thorough. So, that last link I posted to that, what was it, 258 pages, I would highly recommend printing that one out. So, you are welcome. Yeah, I would highly recommend pointing that out, or printing that out. And, it's important to get stuff. And, I'm saying this, and there ain't no way we can afford to get it. I mean, there ain't nothing we can do. But that's not going to stop me from telling you what you should or shouldn't do. You want to make sure that you have plenty of stuff like, oh, you're welcome. You want to make sure that you have plenty of stuff like plastic sheeting and duct tape and stuff like that on hand. Plenty of changes of clothing. You want to make sure that you have clothing. I'm going to say clothing, but that you can be in contaminated environments with, like your Tyvek suits and whatnot. All kinds of stuff. I'm definitely not your guide for it, because there's a lot of things that I wouldn't think about, a lot of little things that I wouldn't think about. It's probably a good idea to have an area set up to where if you do have to take somebody in that came from the outside that was already contaminated, you might want to have an area where they can go outside of the area where you're going to be habitating at, and have them literally scrub down. like literally with scrub brushes scrubbing down. Maybe somebody that's dressed in tie-back with gloves and all that, that's got the appropriate gear on, can help them do so. If you want an idea of what it takes to get radiation off of somebody, there is a movie called Silkwood. And it's an old movie. You might be able to find it on something for free, I would imagine. Hang on, let me find that window back. I think it's got Meryl Streep in it, or whatever. 1983 flick. My dad used to work for Kerr-McGee Chemical. Not the same location. My dad worked Illinois at Kerr-McGee Chemical. This happened, was it Texas? I can't remember. Silkwood. I would think that there's probably somewhere you can watch it for free. I would think. Yeah, the movie, it's just called Silkwood. Not quite what I wanted. I guess I could have brought up the IMDb thingy. And it's just called Silkwood. It's got Meryl Streep, Kurt Russell and Cher. Old movie. But there is a scene, I think more than one, to where they are trying to, this is a true story by the way, where they're trying to get radiation off of somebody, and they're like literally scrubbing them with stiff bristled brushes, like scrubbing them hard, as in you bleed in spots. It's not a fun time. But you don't have a whole bunch of options. You just don't. I would highly recommend anybody that's concerned about nuclear war, concerned with wanting to know what to do about it, to dive deep and to do it quick. This guide's probably a pretty good place to start. Like I said, there's plenty of books by plenty of authors that really do a good job to talk about it. I've got several, but none of them are coming in top of my head right now. I've got a bunch of books, and I've said this before, and they're all over. I've got them on my cell phone here. I've got them on my tablet. I've got them on phones I don't use. I've got them on devices I have wrapped in foil and stuff, and the best EMP proof that I can get them. And I always keep an updated copy of these books on these devices. And none of them are Mobi files, or none of them are Kindle files. They're all EPUBs. And of course, I've got EPUB readers to be able to read them. And I've got all kinds of stuff, you name it, including books on what to do in the event of a nuclear disaster. But I'm going to tell you, it's a tough one to tackle. And you're going to need plastic sheeting, duct tape, shovels. I mean, you're going to need a lot. Going to need a lot. But I'm not saying that to discourage you. I'm saying that to motivate you. Because you got to start somewhere. Just understand that it's a bit of a mountain. So, this was not in my bingo card at all. I thought we were kind of done and over with that idea after the Cold War, but I guess not. Anyway, I am going to get out of here. I am hurting like hell. And I will talk to you all soon. have a good evening. Have a great Thanksgiving. We're just going to be here. It'll be just us here, not doing anything. And, hope you all have a good one. And I don't know for sure if I'll do a show tomorrow night or not. Let's see. If I'm hurting like this, I may just call it a holiday. So, otherwise, I may see you here. Either way, I hope you have a good Thanksgiving. And we'll see you soon. Shalom.